I'm Bob.
And I'm Tammy. And this is Bob and Tam's Excellent Adventures.
Today we're going to talk about how we full-time RV. One of the things we wanted to talk about a little bit is we see a lot of this on the internet and a lot on YouTube about people saying the pros and the cons of why they do things, why you should do it this way or that way. What we're going to do is kind of give you an idea of what we do. It may not necessarily be the right way for everyone, but this is kind of how we thought about how we would tell you how we go about doing all this. For those that do not know, we are retired, so we're out and about with our RV, checking out all the new things. Some of the pros and the cons. Some of the good things, the pros you could say about it is you can pretty much go anywhere you want. You can stay as long as you want. You could visit places that you normally wouldn't stay at. So there's a lot of really good advantages to be full-time RV. You can also have to where
you have a lot of flexibility. You have the freedom of going and coming as you please. So that's a lot of the reasons why we RV full-time, and the reason we like it is because we can discover America. There's so much in this country to go to see and do, and we want to experience all that before it gets too late.
So some of the pros and the cons, some of the people talk about getting rid of different things. It all depends. In our situation, we actually own a house. We're full-time workers. We had saved some retirement money, things like that. So we were a little bit probably more financially set than some. And there's some that's probably a lot more financially set than we are. So based on that, way we kind of started looking at it is we were first looking at getting a van, possibly. Then we were looking at a motorhome. Then we ended up getting a pull-behind trailer with a full-size pickup truck to store things in, things like that. A lot of people decide that they want to get rid of their sticks and bricks.
Well, there's a few reasons why I would prefer not to get rid of our sticks and bricks. And we're going to go through those with you today to tell you what works for us. It may not work for everybody, but full-timing, RVing, and getting rid of our sticks and bricks, I didn't believe for us was a good idea. And one of the reasons is if something would happen to that RV, we've been watching YouTube for a long time, and a lot of people that we've been watching have given us a lot of great ideas, a lot of help, a lot of inspiration, but we've also seen a lot of difficult things that people have gone through and challenges. And one thing is, like, what if something happens to your RV? That's your home. Everything you own is inside that. And if something would happen to that, like, let's say, if it caught on fire.
So one of the things that I was looking on the internet for was something about how many trailers, how many different RVs, is there fires? So what I ended up finding on RVersonline.org, it's basically said that devastation happens to about 20,000 reported RV fires a year. And last year, 80% of those fires were in motorhomes that ran on gas-powered engines. So that's one of the things that we were thinking about, and I've also seen it on YouTube. We actually seen somebody down in Quartzsite on a YouTube video that she had a van and it completely burnt to the ground. Pretty much everybody could stand there and watch it burn. You know, they brought fire extinguishers, things like that, but there's no way, you're too far away from a fire department to even come and try to save anything. It's not saying that you could have saved anything to start with. So you look at a place like that, she lost everything. She had nothing. That's her only place that she had. Luckily, she was in a community at the time that they got together and they helped her put things back together. But she probably lost things that she'll never be able to replace because that was her home. It's not similar to when you have a sticks and bricks and things like that.
But that is a positive. This community, RV community, everyone is so helpful and so kind with information and lending a helping hand. And before that rendezvous was over, where they were at in Quartzsite, they had her in a new van, and they had put all the insides in, the cabinetry, a bed, and things like that for her. So she was able to at least leave that with a place to live, because she was basically homeless after that tragedy happened.
And there was another one that I was watching, was a larger RV. She was actually outside, I think, walking her dog, and she came back. Somebody was filming it, and her whole RV was just up engulfed in flames. She was right there. She was already crying. She was hysterical, and basically that's what she was saying. That is all I own. That's everything I have. And a lot of people get out there with an older RV, and they might only have liability insurance on it. So in a case like that, you've got nothing. And if that was all your money that you had, I don't know what you would do after that. I would hate to be in a circumstance that my main living was that's all I had. You could say, yeah, the same thing could happen if you had a house or something like that. But typically a house, you one of the difference with especially a motorhome, and they were saying 20,000, 80% of those are from gasoline engines. You don't have a gasoline engine running inside your sticks and bricks home. So you have a furnace, you have different things that can cause fires. But in an RV, people are adding solar. You're adding a lot of different things. You're also using an RV that was never, ever intended to be something that you lived in.
And we don't want to be all doom and gloom. And the percentages are out there. But it's just something that we think about and something that that's one of the reasons why we keep our sticks and bricks, is a place to fall back on. And then the same thing, if something would happen to the RV, like let's say you were in an accident, you never know, someone could hit you, or if you would have a breakdown or a major repair, that it has to be in the shop for several days or weeks or months even sometimes, where are you going to go? Then you're going to have to put out a bill for either a motel room or stay with friends or relatives, or, inconvenience someone else because you don't have a place to go. So that's another reason why we decided to keep our sticks and bricks, is we always have a home base if needed.
So we had another one that we watched just the other day. It's actually somebody we're going to go see down in Florida. We're going for a rally. It's the Motorhome Experiment. You want to check those guys out. They actually had an instance where the train tracks came up, damaged the bottom of their motorhome. It bent a jack. It knocked a hole in the gas tank. Well, luckily, it wasn't very far from Las Vegas, which is where they're from, to where they were able to get back to Las Vegas. They ended up being able to stay with friends at times. They had a lot more communication with people, and they were probably there almost 2 months before they got it back on the road to where they could move on out and head towards Florida, which they ended up on the way. They even had to stop and still didn't get the jacks fixed until they got a little closer. They had the parts shipped there and somebody helped them put it on. So there's even circumstances like that to where maybe if it wouldn't have happened so close to Las Vegas, it might have been a lot more dramatic than what they had, being that it happened close enough to where they had been from. They'd lived for a long time, so they knew the area. So things like that could make a little bit of a difference. Not saying that everything's always going to happen close to where you originally are from. But if you had an instance where something major happened to it, you could always travel, leave your RV, or if you had a tow behind, or even take a flight back to where you got a home at or something like that, to where you could stay until your repair got remade. If it could be looking at months. If your RV got sideswiped, something that could be fixed, it takes insurance companies forever to make a decision on doing something. And typically your insurance isn't going to pay for you to stay in a motel unless you've got something extra on your policy.
So that's the number one reason. If something would happen to the RV, what are you going to do? The second reason we decided to keep our sticks and bricks are health issues. None of us are getting any younger. Each day you get a day older. And we've heard of instances where, let's say, you either get injured, or there's a heart attack, or a medical condition that pops up. I have enough issues on my own, and sometimes I just need to be home, and we have a hot tub that I get very relaxed, and that's like my favorite place to be, is in the hot tub. And there's a lot of RV parks that do have hot tubs that we use and things like that. But if it's something major that one of us needs to be hospitalized or have surgery, again, I feel more comfortable if we have a home base, something to go home to, and a little more room, be with family and friends to help you through that situation. Or maybe if it's too dramatic, you won't even be able to RV anymore, and then at least we have a place to stay. And then the third reason is we worked very hard all of our lives to be able to afford a house and to get a house. And our retirement house that we purchased it in a very economical area. We got a really good price for the house, so our payments are not very high. And fortunately, we're able to RV full-time and keep our house, where I know that's not an option for others. Another reason that we keep the house is if you buy, let's say you pay full price and buy a brand new motorhome, some of those run up to $500,000, and that's just going to depreciate over time. But it is your home and that's where you're living at. But let's say something happens and you need to get back and you can't RV anymore either, you're going to be losing money versus in a house. Right now, everything's appreciating. So you're going to have equity in your home versus losing in an RV. So that's another reason why we decided to keep our sticks and bricks and that it works for us.
When you think about that, that's what you have to look at. Some people, that's what they have to do. They don't have a lot of choices. If you're renting, this is a whole different ball game. If you're renting, if you don't own anything, then yeah. We were in California for 17 years, and a one-bedroom apartment was $1,800 a month. So you could go someplace to where if I bought an RV, traveled, I could probably get by with a payment on an RV and boondocking, things like that, watching my money. I could probably get way under the $1,800 a month. So that could be an option for somebody that's in that situation. The other thing is that if I have to sell my home to buy my RV, that's a different situation too. That's the point that she was kind of trying to make about depreciation of your vehicle. We've already seen a few people on YouTube that have been out 3 or 4 years or even less that decide, this just isn't for us. We're getting older or whatever the case may be. Maybe their kids are getting older or they're getting to be more adult-wise kids. They don't want to be out on the road anymore. So people are looking for a regular sticks and bricks home. Well, if you've taken your RV and that's what you've had to buy, let's say it's a $75,000 or $100,000 RV that you had to buy, and that's what you had to sell your home to be able to buy that RV. Well, if you've been in it 3 or 4 years, it probably isn't even worth half of what you paid for it. So now if you try to sell it, you may be stuck taking money that you may not, I can't sit on it forever and get exactly what I want if I need to buy a house. So then you may end up being that you have to move to an area that you're not real comfortable with. So that's something that you have to think about. And it's like I even say, if I'm so strapped that I've got a house, I've got to sell it. In our case, I don't think I'd go full-time RVing. That may not be necessarily the option that you'd have. There's other options where you could take your RV and you could put it in a court. We were just down in Yuma, and there was a girl there that she was staying in a place for $600 a month with full utilities. So that's what she said. She was a lot better off doing that route than trying to rent an apartment that she had to pay all of her utilities and everything else that came with it. So there is options out there other than saying you're necessarily, I'm not being full-time RVing, but I'm staying pretty much in one location the whole time that I'm there.
Another reason we like our sticks and bricks house is because we do have a pontoon boat, and where our house is, it's right along the Colorado River, and we have a couple lakes near us. So we still do like to use our boat. So when we're out in our RV, we can't tow our Toyhauler and the boat behind it. So when we do want to use our boat, have our kids come out or whatever, we have a boat there at the house, which we can go out on the lakes and the rivers when we're there at home. And the other thing is about the insurance. You can bundle and save, like Flo says. If you have your RV, your home, your cars, or boat, motorcycle, everything, you can bundle and you can save some money that way too. So, like I said, for this, keeping our sticks and bricks works for us. It may not work for everybody, and that's just what we wanted to send this video out to show you different things about why we decided to keep our sticks and bricks house.
And a lot of people might say, well, what do you do? What happens if something happens to your house while you're gone? How do you know? Well, in our case, we have a full alarm that's on the house, and I have cameras all over our house. We have cameras that are looking outside. We have cameras that look at the boat. We have a place that when the trailer's there, there's actually a camera on that, because right now we're visiting our kids in California, so the trailer's out on the side of the house. So there's a camera on that, watching that. So we can kind of see what's going on. I can control the thermostat. Pretty much anything that goes on I can keep track of. We've also got neighbors that will help out. We do have a relative that lives in the area that will come over to the house if need be, if anything drastically would happen. We do leave the utilities on. We leave the water on. We are in Arizona, so we do leave the air conditioner running during the summer we keep it at a higher, 84, 85 degrees. but it keeps the house at a cooler temperature to where we can cool it down if we're going to come home. So everything kind of stays the same at home. So we're pretty comfortable with that. I'm only paying for the alarm service, which is like only $49.95 a month. All the cameras, I just have it on the Wi-Fi system, so I can look at them. They're not really monitored. We have a Ring doorbell. If somebody comes to the door, if they deliver a package, anything like that that we weren't expecting to come to the house. So we do have a backup plan if something would happen at home that we need to attend to. So that's a little bit different to where, that's what I say, I know a lot of people have asked us, well, what do you worry, what's going on in your house right now? Well, within a second here, I can look on my phone and see everything that's going on in the house and everything around it. So that's been pretty good, and we're in a pretty safe neighborhood. We've had the house for 5 years, and nothing, knock on wood, has happened yet. So we're pretty happy with keeping that situation. One of the things we're going to go into is Harvest Host is one of the camping items that we use for boondocking. Harvest Host, they've got a special going on right now just till the end of the year. They call it their Black Friday sale, but you know, like everybody else's, Black Friday seems to last all year long. But this is only going to go to the end of December, but it gives you 20% off Harvest Host. You may say, what the heck is Harvest Host? Well, Harvest Host is a place where you can stay at wineries, you can stay at museums, you can stay on farms. And it's pretty neat. What you can do is, we've only done a couple times so far, but it's, you pay one set amount for the year, and you can go to all these places, and there's no charge to stay there. Some have electric, some have water, some have nothing. But what they have is, there's actually one that's not too far from our house in Kingman. It's a distillery. They have wine or distillery tours to show rum. They sell rum. They have a few other things in there. We stayed at another winery. Was that in Colorado?
No, it was in New Mexico.
New Mexico?
New Mexico.
Yeah. So we stayed at another one in New Mexico. Now that one ended up being, the day that we were there was totally closed. So the gentleman met us there. We actually had electricity. We hooked up to it, and we were gone the next day. So most of these places are a one-day stay. It's kind of like a stay over, but it's a whole lot better than going to a Walmart or something like that, parking in a parking lot. These are usually really nice places. They're usually pretty much off the road. We haven't had one yet that's been real close to traffic. But you know, people say, well, what do I have to do to get to stay at these wineries? Well, first you got to get the membership that's going on. And then the second thing that you do, you should patronize the owners of the property. You know, if it's a distillery, maybe buy you a bottle of rum, or if it's a winery, get you a bottle of wine, or some of them's got gift shops, or some of the farms, we're going to be staying at possibly a farm this next month, and they have like a craft store. They also sell homemade cheese, things like that. So there's some things where you could spend a little bit of money, and you might say, then it's still costing me money. Well, if I went down the road and had to stay at a campground and paid $30 or $50, what did I get? Here, at least you can walk away with a bottle of wine, you could walk away with some rum, you could walk away with a gift. You know, you could have something to show for your stay of being there versus just giving somebody money and using their electricity and power and go. Or in a Walmart situation, you have to worry about the people that might be out there running around Walmart and acting crazy. So here it's a little bit there.
It's a safe place to go. You feel secure, and it's usually pretty quiet at these places, because usually when you're there in the evening, they're closed. So most of the places we've stayed at, they've only had us or maybe one other boondocker there for the night. So it's a secure place, it's a quiet place, and it's usually just for an overnight stay. Some will let you stay a few nights longer, but usually it's just a place that you're getting from one place to another, and it's just an overnight stay.
So look at the link down below, and you'll find where you can click on there and you can save the 20%. Also, one last thing that they have, if you're one of those golfers out there that love to do golfing, they have another, basically we have 900 Harvest Host with what I was saying, the wineries, the museums, and different business farms. And then they have another, I think it's almost 500 that they add. I think it's 1,400 total when they add the golf courses to it. You might say, hey, I don't golf. You know, most golf courses have bars, they have restaurants, some
have spas.
Yeah. So there's things you could do there that may benefit that business to help pay for your stay of being there. And once again, you're gaining something by being there. Or nothing else, throw that golf club in the back of the car, and you can go in the back of the RV, and when you're out there, you can drive a few balls down the golf course. So how much can a bucket of balls cost you? So, but it's even, you're just patronizing that business, which is something that's good. And same thing. It's so far, we're really excited. We have a whole bunch of different places like that we stay that we're going to have another video on soon to let you know. So pretty much now we're gone here for these 2 weeks. We're actually in California visiting the kids. And then right after Christmas, we're going to be heading back, picking up the trailer, and we're going to go all the way to Florida. We won't be back again till sometime in March. And then we'll have a week in Vegas that we've got some things going on. And then after that, we've got the whole summer planned out already to be traveling everything from California, Wyoming, South Dakota, and who knows where else from there. So it'd be pretty neat to follow us. This is going to be probably our last video for the year. So we do want to wish everybody Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And for you to please subscribe. You can go through your little spiel.
So what we need you to do is, what we're trying to do is get at least 100 subscriptions by Christmas. So that's only a few days away. So please subscribe. Ring the notification bell to get notified of upcoming videos. Give us a thumbs up if you liked the video or found it informational or funny. And stay tuned. Stick with us for a little bit. Just go on some of our adventures with us. We hope you enjoy some of the travels. And like Bob said, we want to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a blessed New Year. So we'll see you all later.
See ya.
Bye.
You did that.
And Charlie wants to say Merry Christmas too. Say Merry Christmas, Charlie dog. Say bye.